We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health. I'm your host, Joshua Lane, and you're listening to us today on the LA Talk Live radio network. My guest is a champion bodybuilder and powerlifter who has won more than 100 separate awards, and he is a man in his mid-60s. He looks fantastic, he feels fantastic, and he has accomplished a great deal. It is my great pleasure to invite Gordon Santee to be our guest today. Gordon Santee, welcome to Here's to Your Health.
Josh, thank you very much. I feel privileged to be here today. It's very interesting. Your program is Here's to Your Health. Mm-hmm. And on my little card, my personal card, on the front is my name, Gordon Santee. And on the back is a picture of my bodybuilding photo. And I use the French term votre santé, which means to your health. Mm-hmm. So here's to your health, my friend.
And you are here today because you're pretty well known, and you have won, is it accurate? I have a little list in front of me that you provided. You have won 100 separate powerlifting awards?
I hold 100 world records in powerlifting. Powerlifting is a competition involving the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift, and they produce a total. I hold over 104 American records, and I have won the world championship in various federations. I belong to 7 different federations worldwide, 27 times. So I'm having fun.
And when did you start powerlifting?
It's very interesting. I was in my mid-30s, a little bit old to do that. Usually you think of teenagers starting lifting. But I found that when I was younger, I was very strong. I had a good balance, never to be big. I'm not a very large person, but I had good balance between my weight and my strength levels. And I needed an outlet. I used to race cars, sports cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was fantastic because my upper body strength, I could maneuver through the courses quite easily. But then it was difficult to continue up with that because of the points, championships, and doing my own work in my car, and I wanted another outlet for my energy. And I came across a gentleman that was involved in selling weight equipment. And I said, well, what's this all about, this powerlifting? And he talked to me about it, and I said, I'm in. And that's the beginning of, this is my over 3 decades.
So about 30 years ago, it was really York barbells, right?
Basically, that's what it was, yes. And we only had 1 or 2 federations at that time. Now we have dozens. So it's kind of interesting. The sport is truly worldwide.
Okay, so what does the sport entail once again?
Okay, it's a competition where it's based upon your weight classification. And then there's the master's program, which is 40 and over in either 5 or 10-year increments. So in some cases, I compete in open competition against 20-year-old people. In the master's program, I compete against people in the age bracket 60 in my weight class. And I've been in 3 weight classes over the years, starting a little bit heavier, and as I got older, it's a little bit lighter and lighter. 181 became 165, became 148, 148 pounds. But pound for pound, I've really maintained that strength level over the years. So,
are you sorry you dropped some weight? Is that it?
I would love to weigh a little bit more. But face it, being in my mid-60s, I'm watching my eating program. I believe I'd rather be healthy, a little bit lighter healthy, than to carry weight around that wasn't doing any good.
Right, because as we get older, it is better to be lighter.
It is truly, yes, yes.
And all right, so let's talk about the powerlifting. Let's talk about the events. How do you train for those? What's the protocol?
Typically, I go into a progressive cycle, starting with lighter weights and higher repetitions. And I generally do it in either 8-week or 12-week increments. That's about the time it takes to prepare. The rest of the year, I'm in a maintenance program. But to be honest with you, I compete anywhere from 6 to 8 times a year. So I'm always getting ready for something. And as I get closer to the event, I mark my calendar with what would be my anticipated maximum lift. And then I back up week after week after week, and I set targets. I think it's very important that you establish targets, goals, objectives, which is true in life also. You need to strive for something. And the beauty of it is that when I achieve these little mini goals, I have a sense of accomplishment. I'm not just waiting to train for 12 weeks and, heaven forbid, the plane doesn't come off the ground and I can't make the event and I've wasted all that time. But so building up to the competition, I'm really doing a little series of small mini competitions which provide tremendous encouragement.
No, okay, so since I really don't know your sport,
Yes.
what are the 3 aspects of the sport again?
The first lift is called the squat. The bar is placed on your shoulders, and you receive a command to squat. You descend to a point, this is the fun part, where the crease in the pelvic area goes below the top of the knee. This is not bend your knees and smile. This is go below parallel. And again, attempt to stand upright again with a smile on your face, and the head referee will say rec. At that point, that lift becomes official. It goes toward your total.
And what numbers are you doing now?
Typically, I'm doing now around 300, 350 pounds. In my heyday,
Yes.
I was doing it mid-500s.
Wow.
But part of that also was I did have a little slight injury. I broke my back. Yes. And I elected, when I went to the emergency room.
Excuse me, you broke your back during the sport.
Yes, I did. It was I was doing some training. Fortunately, I was in a protective cage arrangement, which saved my life. But I did break my back, and I went to the emergency room, and they said, "Well, we'll schedule for surgery." And I said, "I'd like a second opinion." And I took the opportunity to research it and elected to do it naturally, without any medicines, without any drugs, no painkillers. A lot of hanging, decompression, tremendous amount of physical therapy. 18 months later, 18 months, I was able to squat just the bar by itself, but that was a thrill.
Wait a minute, Gordon, you mean to tell me at an event you
I was actually at home at the time.
you
Thank
literally
goodness.
broke your back
Yes, sir.
and you were taken to the hospital?
Yes, sir.
You had the presence of mind to refuse surgery.
Yes, sir.
And what did the MD say to you?
Said, "Well, it's your choice, young man." And I said, "Well, I'd like to get a second opinion." And that second opinion was to do something naturally. And
And who did you work with?
I was working downtown for an oil company
Just in L.A.?
in Los Angeles, and I was unable to drive. So my wife would take me to the bus stop, and I would kind of shuffle on the bus. And fortunately, the bus stop was right across from the office. And during that time, I was going through therapy. I would take another bus at my lunch break to the Good Samaritan Hospital in downtown Los Angeles. And that's back in the days when you wore a suit. So I carried my briefcase, I carried my x-rays. I became so well known at the hospital, they thought I was a doctor, and they allowed me to use the underground tunnels between the buildings. But I did that for months.
What years was this?
This was in 1981-82 timeframe. It was kind of a tough start because my first competition was 1980. So a year later, I had my fault. And I was trying to attempt something that I never should have. I've since learned from that to stay, if it looks stupid, don't do it.
Wow.
Yeah. But a full recovery, coming back to the point where I'm breaking world records. I have no pain, no discomfort. I'm careful. And again, if it looks stupid, I heed the call and I don't do it.
What are some of your records, world records?
Well, some of the ones I'm very proud of. In 1994, I squatted 545 pounds
Wow.
at a body weight of 163.
Wow.
And what's interesting about that is I backed out on the weight, and it felt a little heavy. And I thought, well, I'm going to give it a try. What's interesting, I focused into the audience, and there was a young man, I believe he's autistic, and I focused on him. And as I'm going down, I said, he's supporting me. I went down, I got the weight, stood up, and got 3 official white lights from the referees. Said, Mr. Santee, please come to the scoring table. The bar was misloaded. And I thought, oh boy, I don't have to do this again. So I got to the table and said, well, your bar, you requested 534 pounds. We actually put on the bar 545 pounds. Do you accept that? I said, yes, sir. I went out to the audience and I hugged that young man because he believed in me. I could just see his eyes, and as I'm going up, he's getting a smile on his face, and it's the power of believing and the power of support from other people.
Right.
Yeah. On the deadlift, well, I hold a record in the bench press for 162.5 kilos, 358 pounds. To this day, it's never been broken. In 1994, at the same event that I had the squat, I deadlifted 255 kilos, which is 562 pounds. Successful. 7 years later, in Cape Town, South Africa, age 55, same body weight, I lifted 255.5. That's 1.1 pounds more. I'm 7 years older. And I achieved, and that was a world record. And that, to me, was tremendous. Even to this day, I'm not lifting. I'm in a lighter weight class, so my lifts are not as much, but I'm still in the very high 80, 90% of what I was doing in my 40s and 50s. So just consistency in training.
Besides the enjoyment of the sport and the will to win, can I ask you about what you're eating? And
yes. I am very cautious what I eat, although I must admit every week I have a cheat meal. And I do that to kind of reset my metabolism. Mm-hmm. But I generally eat very clean, chicken, fish, eggs, brown rice, but not so much. It's the quantity. It's moderation. I eat between 6 and 10 times a day, little small meals.
Huh.
And it helps to maintain my metabolism. I do have a medical condition, technically pre-diabetic, but it's called hypoglycemia, low blood sugar, as a result of an overactive pancreas. So I can't really eat large amounts of food, and I can't do the sugars or the simple carbohydrates or the alcohol.
And you choose not to.
Correct, sir.
Right.
Yeah, I just feel so much better. And people look at me and say, you're in your mid-60s, and you bounce around like a 20-year-old kid. And what's interesting is I do my blood work quite often throughout the year. I have my physicals. And I have 2 doctors. I have a woman doctor that my wife and I go to, and I have a male doctor also. And they look at my numbers and they say, it's like you're getting younger on the inside. And with tongue in cheek, I said to the woman doctor, I said, please, I hope this doesn't mean I have to go through puberty again. I don't want the pimples. So what people don't realize is I can't stop the clock, but I can certainly change the way how I feel. And nutrition is critical. And I'm so very fortunate because I work at a nutrition store.
Where?
At Lindbergh Nutrition.
Where's that?
We have 2 stores in Torrance, down by the Delamo Mall, and my store that I work at is in Manhattan Beach. And it's kind of an interesting story on that. Judy Lindbergh McFarland, mm-hmm. We've been friends for many years. And I was talking to her one day at the Torrance store, and Judy said, Gordon, we're going to open up a new store in Manhattan Beach, and you kind of live in that area. And I said, yeah, it's right around the corner. Technically, it's a 3-minute drive or 11-minute walk. And as the story goes, Judy said, come on, help us open the store. I said, okay, I'll help. And that was September 4th of 2003. And as it goes, I've never gone home since.
Uh-huh.
And it was a tremendous opportunity because I feel privileged in that I'm allowed to use my years of experience. I've had certain medical challenges in my life that I can mention to you, and I'm a lot of life experience, and of course my wife and I, she experienced menopause, and I really understand what women are going through, and men have andropause, which is male menopause,
Right.
and my condition, the diabetes or not the hypoglycemia, I can provide insight to people and give them hope and recommend natural products. It's their decision, and my responsibility is to provide suggestions and give them information, and they then can say, well, I understand now, and also to help people if they're on medications and they're looking for alternatives. I can direct them to websites and literature and publications to give them hope.
So when people come in to Lindbergh,
Yes.
and you counsel them, and they want to start out as an athlete, what are some things you would recommend?
Excellent question. Typically, the idea is that you need to provide nutrition to fuel the body.
Mm-hmm.
In a training program, the frequent meals would be excellent because you're not overloading your digestive system. But quite often, the use of a very simple multivitamin. I happen to use the Fitness Labs Fitness Multi 1. It's perfect for my needs.
Mm-hmm.
It works to provide a gap or to fill in where you may not be getting the nutrition from your food sources. You run around, you skip a meal. And I find that multivitamins are just beneficial for just filling in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that's been a tremendous benefit to me is the use of fish oil. There is a medical doctor, naturopathic, called Dr. Mark Hyman, Hyman. He actually has a program on public television that's not an infomercial. It's a program on health. And he recommends something as simple as a multivitamin and fish oil is the core of nutrition. And I truly believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've found that I use the Lindbergh double strength fish oil. I found, and I mentioned I get my blood tested every 3 months. I have found that I've been able to, my cholesterol is 159.
Good.
Yeah. I've had my HDL cholesterol as high as 97. Which is wonderful. But the fish oil helps with, people say, wait a minute, you've got 5,000 items in this store. How in the world can you remember what they're used for? I said, well, I find fish oil helps brain support.
Yes.
Helps mood support. And also, it reduces inflammation. One of the critical medical measures of inflammation in the body is called C-reactive protein, CRP. My CRP is non-existent. And a perfect example, the first Thursday in November last month, I was at one World Championship at the Riviera in Las Vegas.
Last month?
Last month, yes. And
You won the World Championship in what?
This was the World Championship of Powerlifting, called the World Powerlifting Congress, one of the many federations I belong to. And on Thursday,
and where was it?
It was at the Riviera Hotel in Las Vegas.
Okay.
So I broke the world record for the bench, the deadlift, the squat, and the total, all new world records. And I lifted at that time 190 kilos, which is roughly 418.9 pounds, roughly. The next day, I transferred up to the Golden Nugget in downtown Las Vegas for the International Powerlifting League's World Championship the next day. And I squatted, benched, and I deadlifted. Since I did 190 on Thursday, I did 190.5 the next day. 24 hours later, I lifted more weight. People say, how do you do that? The key is reducing inflammation. And that, too, was a world record.
And so to reduce inflammation, besides fish oils,
Yes.
What else do you use?
Oh, my goodness. One of the critical things, when we are born, our cells, there's a process called apoptosis. It's the programmed death of our cells.
Apoptosis.
Apoptosis. The idea is that we prematurely damage our cells by the presence of free radicals in the body. Mm-hmm. Things we eat, both like oils and foods, and carbohydrates, produce energy, but they also produce radicals that damage our cells. The idea is that if we can reduce the damage to the cell, I can hopefully delay the damage that occurs to prematurely kill the cell. Mm-hmm. So I'm a huge fan of the use of antioxidants. And it's interesting. There's one.
What are the antioxidants?
Oh, the one I use that's amazing is alpha lipoic acid, something that Doctors Perricone have talked about and Dr. Oz. Alpha lipoic acid is quite unique. It is a tremendously wonderful antioxidant, both as a water-soluble and fat-soluble, dual purpose, incredible. But it also helps me with my blood glucose because it enhances my cell's ability to take glucose in, reducing stress on the pancreas.
Oh.
So it's dual purpose. And I just use the Winterberg 300 milligram, and it's amazing. My glucose.
One a day?
Oh, serve 2 a day.
2 a day.
Yeah, one after breakfast, one after dinner. Last week, I was in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico on vacation with my wife, and the food is a little bit different. I took my alpha lipoic acid religiously, and my glucose, fasting glucose in the morning, was running between 80 and 90. And the industry standard right now is 65 to 99. So there it is, a different environment, and everything was working extremely well.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's another thing, too, that you mentioned. In my recovery, I'm a huge fan of amino acids, but there's one in particular. It's called L-glutamine.
L-glutamine.
L-glutamine. It's amazing. It brain function. It helps. It's a precursor for the production of glutathione, but more importantly, it stimulates immune system response. And I have over the years, there's been little sports injuries. 2005, I ripped off my left bicep.
Oh boy!
And Curl and Joe put it back on. And 2006, I tore off the right tricep, and Curl and Joe put that one back on too. And my surgeon looks at me and he says, "What planet are you from? You heal so 6 to 8 weeks in a cast? No, 4 weeks in a cast. Cast off into therapy." And each year I tweaked my nutritional program. And this last year in April, I also tore the bicep off on the right side on the upper portion. It happens. 3 weeks, 3 days, cast off into therapy. And
I don't want to laugh, but you certainly have a lot of injury, and you seem to just take it in stride.
Well, it's something that I'm dealing with. I'm on the edge. Mm-hmm. I'm dealing with world record. I'm going where people haven't gone before. And occasionally, the one over here, in the 30-plus years, I've had very few, considering look at the sports injuries in hockey and football and soccer. And
wait 1 second. For those of you just tuning in to Here's to Your Health today, we're speaking with Gordon Santee, who has won more than 100 championships.
Well, 27 probably championships, including state and nationals, probably 150 or more. But I hold 100 world records.
And you win in powerlifting.
In powerlifting.
And tell us what that includes again.
That's, again, the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's according to some very strict rules. This is not one of those in the bench press where you take the bar out of the rack and bounce it off your chest. The bar is held, brought to your chest, and when it rests motionless on the chest, the head referee will say press. And it's brought back up to arm's length and held motionless in the rack command. So it's not the typical type of exercise you see in the gym. This is very, very structured. But yeah.
And on the glutamine you're using,
yes, sir.
How much L-glutamine do you use personally?
I typically take 5 grams per day. I use the powder. First thing in the morning, I get up, go into the kitchen. I take my teaspoon, put it in the mouth. I use iced tea to wash it down. I feel it just starts my day. And it's interesting. Before I came over here, I was having a discussion with one of the customers, and she had been using glutamine on my suggestion, and her comment was, "I don't get sick anymore." It's really helped promote her natural wellness, and that's what we try to do.
It helps stabilize blood sugar, doesn't it?
Well, glutamine is a polysaccharide, technically. It does help to stabilize, but it's a wonderful product, and the beauty is it's natural.
And glutamine is also very inexpensive.
Extremely inexpensive, yes.
What other little secrets have you got for us?
The real thing is how we eat. Mm-hmm. We are controlled. Many people think that we're controlled by the types of food, but we're limited by our pancreas, that little guy sitting in the abdominal cavity. When food releases from the stomach, it goes into the small intestine, duodenum. The various organs and glands of our body get involved, and the liver produces bile stored in a reservoir called the gallbladder, which is cool. But the pancreas has no reservoir. It secretes in real time. So I tell people, chew your food, eat slowly. The perfect example, the perfect example is these. Many of the people that are taking a protein after exercise is excellent. You're providing the amino acids and nutrients to rebuild the muscle tissue, because the purpose of training is to tear down, and you want to have the resource to build back up. And they've commented that, I say, how do you take that? I said, well, I just drink it down, slug it down. I said, wait a minute, big red flag goes off. I said, the most effective way is really to drink it slowly. Emulate, it's a 6-ounce chicken breast, which I assume you would not attempt to stuff in your mouth all at once. And the idea is that now the pancreas, when that food just goes from the stomach into the small intestine, the pancreas stands there and says, oh my goodness, and secretes little microbursts. In many cases, not sufficient to truly break the foods down. So by slowing down and doing little sips, the reduction in upset stomach is tremendous. The gas and bloating goes away. And one young man I was helping, in a period of 7 weeks, he put on about 4 to 5 pounds of muscle, and it wasn't on his stomach. It was on his shoulders, his arms, his leg, because he was previously just slugging it down and not being able to digest it properly.
It's very good advice. And do your customers listen to you?
Yes.
Good.
The reason being is that they figure, well, this old man, he must know something, and then I'm very fortunate.
Well, they see your accomplishment. I mean, the accomplishment is here, and so I guess the young guys who are 20, they think, well, look what he's accomplished. Maybe I should listen to him.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, the Lindbergh management has allowed me to maintain a little small placard that is approved by the company, and it just talks about some of my accomplishment. But there's a picture of my bodybuilding and a picture of my powerlifting, and they say, you're that person? And it adds a sense of credibility, because I've been there, I've done that, and I'm not going to
We're showing that, are we not? We're showing that picture? Yes, we should. Nestor, we're showing that picture for sure.
Yeah. And it's the idea that let's give them an advantage of wellness. It's interesting. Health is the only thing that really permeates through our full life, lifespan. And the idea is that if we have health, we have so much going for us.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are people out there with infinite financial resources, but without their health, they have nothing.
Gordon, we only have a few minutes left.
Yes, sir.
And so as we get older,
yes, sir,
we tend to lose mass.
Yes.
Do you like to recommend creatine monohydrate for both a younger and an older man?
To be honest with you, yes. I personally take it also. I use the Fitness Labs CreaPure. That's the original German crystalline creatine. Purity is the key. Mm-hmm. Creatine is made up of 3 amino acids. But what it does is it helps to rebuild the energy cycle in our body called adenosine triphosphate. Creatine stores as creatine phosphate. It becomes a donor. So on younger people, yes, it benefits them in their training. It does provide an advantage for another rep, another set. And for some of my older customers, better heart function. Because the most important muscle in the human body is the heart. And it's a muscle. And we use it, we train it.
Gordon, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Sir.
How can people contact you?
Please, they can contact us, me through Lindbergh Nutrition in the Manhattan Beach store. We're at 1121 Artesia Boulevard, the corner of PCH and Artesia. And our phone number is 310-372-1028.
Let's have that once again, please.
Yes, sir. Area code 310. It's 372-1028. Extension 3 is the vitamin staff, and I'm the head of the vitamin staff, and I'm having a ball.
Well, Gordon Sante, it's been a great pleasure having you on. It's great to have someone who's so knowledgeable in the subject. You're listening to Here's to Your Health. My guest has been Gordon Sante. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages. Gordon, that was very good.
Walk, run, climb, play. Solgar number 7 can help. Feel the difference for yourself. Solgar number 7 actually shows improvement in joint comfort within 7 days. Now you can start to get back on track fast and pursue the activities you love. Solgar number 7 is a breakthrough in joint care with no glucosamine and no chondroitin. The advanced bioactives in Solgar number 7 help to increase flexibility, mobility, range of motion, and actually shows improvement within just 7 days. One capsule, once a day, is all you need. When stiff joints occasionally say no, Solgar number 7 says yes. Visit Solgar.com and learn more about Solgar number 7 today. That's www.solgar.com, www.solgar.com. Solgar number 7, official sponsors of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane and LA Talk Live.
Oh, your skin looks great.
Thank you.
What's your secret?
Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence.
Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence?
Yes, it's a beauty secret used since the time of the Greeks and the Romans. This spa in Malibu told me about frankincense and myrrh by Ancient Essence, and now my skin is lovely.
Yes, your skin looks great.
Call Ancient Essence at 1-800-627-9813. Discover the secret of beautiful skin. Call 1-800-627-9813. Discover the secret. Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence. Discover the secret of beautiful skin. Available at fine spas and beauty centers.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. You're listening to us today on the LA Talk Live radio network. My guest is Andrew Saul, the author of the book Heal Yourself, second edition, came out only several months ago. And the book is really easy to read and very well done. And Andrew Saul, are you on the wire?
I am. And the book is called Doctor Yourself.
I'm sorry, Doctor Yourself. Doctor Yourself. Thank you. Andrew Saul.
Because
yes, I can.
We actually want people to become their own doctor, and we want them to take charge of their own health care. Sounds like a tough job, but we believe they can.
Well, I have had the great pleasure of reading your book, and it is just excellent. It is easy to read, it is accurate, and since, of course, nutrition is my favorite subject, and since I read in the subject regularly, I was just very impressed by the things you had to say. And if you don't mind,
thank you very much.
Oh, it's my great pleasure. If you don't mind, let's start out with something that's slightly not very romantic, but certainly is an issue. And you have a section on boils and what people can do for boils. I hate to, start out on boils, but can you please talk to us about boils a little bit?
Not a problem. It's a common problem, so it isn't a problem to talk about it. When people have a boil or a pus-forming condition, it usually just goes away by itself, but there are times when it does not, and these things can get to the point where they're large and painful. Under the skin, there's a lot of pus under there, and the physician has to lance it to let all that pus out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when that happens in certain parts of the body, it can leave a scar or an opening, which is called a fissure, and this can require surgery to correct later on. Obviously, the best way to deal with boils is not to have them, but let's face it, they do happen.
Mm-hmm.
One of the least known ways of dealing with boils is using a homeopathic remedy. Now, the homeopathic remedy is called silica. Homeopathy was very popular about a century and a half ago. It's still popular in some parts of the world. The Queen of England's personal physician is a homeopath. Now, what's a homeopath? Homeopaths use microdilutions of natural substances to get a healing response. Modern medicine uses high doses of a drug to get a response. Homeopathy uses low doses. This means it's inherently safe. To a critic, it also means that it's inherently worthless.
Mm-hmm.
However, homeopathic remedies have a 200-year history of being successful. They are manufactured in the United States under the Homeopathic Pharmacopoeia of United States regulations. They are therefore government regulated. And homeopathic remedies are used by licensed medical doctors. The neat part is that you don't have to have a license in order to get them. Because they're safe, they're over the counter. With all that in mind, the homeopathic remedy silica is very good for boils, simple white pus-forming conditions. Years ago, I had a friend who had a little boy who was about 2 years old, and he had a boil right on his hiney, and it was in the worst place. It was right next to the anus. He was told that if this boil was untreated, that it would have to be lanced, and then probably a fistula would form, and probably he'd need surgery. The parents figured, well, they don't have anything to lose. They had an appointment to see a surgeon in another city at a special hospital that let parents stay overnight in the room with the child. It had all been arranged. But they wondered if possibly this homeopathic stuff might work. So they gave the child homeopathic silica. The potency was 6x. X means 1 part in 10, like the Roman numeral, and 6 means it's 1 part in 10 taking 6 times over. The boy actually had the boil go away under this care. Now, maybe it was placebo effect, but the bottom line is surgery was canceled, and it was a wonderful thing for this little 2-year-old to not have to go into the hospital and have to deal with this kind of stress. Needless to say, the mother was pretty pleased as well.
Okay, Andrew, my question is...
It's an unusual case of homeopathy working, but I saw it and they saw it, and I'm pretty impressed with it.
My question, Andrew, since I think homeopathy is very successful, where did the pus go?
Probably it was reabsorbed into the body because it did not drain. You would know it if it did.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a sizable boil, if the pus comes out, it's pretty obvious. People that have had pimples as a teenager know that with a good facial scrub, very often the little whiteheads will break and the material comes out. This is normal. So the only place it could have gone was where it came from in the first place. It went back into the body and it was removed internally. The fact that that can happen and the fact that there's something we can do to hasten it is good news.
Yes. Yes, and then, okay, so that I thank you for starting out with boils. And
that's a lovely topic.
Yes, it is. You also, now the entire book, Doctor Yourself, which just came out in second edition from Basic Books, is really very good. Easy to read, excellent information. And I do notice that some of the most influential people in the field of natural health care have written little blurbs about the quality of the book, which is really very nice, and because it lets the readers know how highly they hold your opinion. And you had a section about Parkinson's disease. Now, Parkinson's, of course, is of unknown origin, and it could be a multifactorial in origin. What is your protocol for Parkinson's?
Well, the first answer I give to that is that nobody's quite sure about Parkinson's. But we do know that there are some areas that have not been looked into as well as they should, and that area in particular seems to be nutrition. We also know that when Parkinson's disease was studied from a nutritional point of view, some very encouraging results were found. Very few people, when they go to their doctor, will hear anything along the line of, well, let's try this nutrient. We don't hear that from medical doctors because medical doctors are just that, medical doctors. They go to medical school, they study medicine, they get medical degrees that say MD, and they practice medicine, and they prescribe medicine. And by the way, they're funded by the pharmaceutical companies. Now, substitute the word nutrition in there, it sounds kind of weird. I go to a nutrition doctor who went to a nutrition school, studied nutrition, practices nutrition, and prescribes vitamin supplements. Almost no one has a doctor like that. Well, we think it would be better if we all did. Parkinson's is a case in point. A drug that's commonly used to treat Parkinson's is called L-DOPA, levodopa. The fact is the human body can make this. People with Parkinson's may not be making enough L-DOPA themselves naturally because they have insufficient vitamin C in their diet. If you take more vitamin C, you make more L-DOPA. That's simple biochemistry. High doses of vitamin C does not mean an extra orange or two. It means 10, 50, or 75,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day.
Wow.
This is what stimulates L-DOPA production. Now, people say, with that kind of a dose, my gosh, there must be a safety issue in there somewhere. And the answer is there is a safety issue. And the biggest danger with vitamin C is failure to take enough of it. Linus Pauling tried to make that clear many years ago, and a number of physicians have been working on this since, and I just join in their efforts to encourage people to take more vitamin C. In addition to taking vitamin C, an important neurotransmitter in your body is acetylcholine. Your brain can make acetylcholine from choline, and choline is obtainable from lecithin. Lecithin is used in the manufacture of candy. It's an emulsifier. It comes in capsules. It comes in liquid. It comes in granules. Lecithin contains a lot of choline. Egg yolks contain a moderate amount, but lecithin contains more. So people who take more choline in their diet can make more acetylcholine. This may help with Parkinson's. We're not sure about that one, but the vitamin C increasing L-DOPA production is well known. People should say to their doctor, look, doc, I see that you want to put me on L-DOPA. How about we try to see if my body will make it? I want to try this megadose vitamin C protocol first and see what happens. This is called the therapeutic trial. It's perfectly reasonable. According to the American Association of Poison Control Centers, a national database, there's not one death per year from any vitamin. Not one.
Well, thank you. For those of my viewers just tuning in to Here's to Your Health today, we're speaking with Andrew Saul, his excellent new book, Doctor Yourself, new edition, I recommend it. Now, Andrew, if vitamin C and lecithin are good for us and may be helpful for a Parkinson's patient, is there any lifestyle ideas? Are there any things that people do in their lifestyle that might contribute to problems of Parkinson's disease?
I don't know. I'm not a neurologist, and I'm not a physician, so I can't answer that question as fully as a physician can. This is why we call the book Doctor Yourself. Substituting my advice for a doctor's advice really isn't the same as taking charge of your own case. If someone has Parkinson's, they simply cannot do too much reading on this. I'm trying to point them in the right direction. Doctor Yourself is a 400-page book, and it's big pages. There's a lot of information in there. But by golly, medicine's a big topic. And people are obligated to learn as much as their doctor knows, or in my opinion, I think we should learn more than their doctor knows. So if someone is dealing with Parkinson's, I urge them to use my book as a stepping stone and then read the papers that we cite in there and look into it further.
That's a very fair answer. I have a kind of second part to the question I just asked. What is your position on the use of processed sugar?
Sugar is not your friend.
Uh-huh.
Whatever problem you have with your health, no matter what that problem is, whatever problem you have with your health, I guarantee sugar will make it worse. Sugar is a minus food. Not only does it have no vitamins and no minerals and no nutrients at all, except lots and lots and lots and lots of simple carbohydrate, sugar kind of robs your body of nutrients. People that eat a lot of sugar tend to also not eat a lot of other foods that are good for them. Alcohol is very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
People that drink a lot of alcohol tend to also not eat a lot of things that are good for them. So not only does the sugar not give you anything, and alcohol is the same way, but it keeps you from eating a whole foods, unprocessed diet that would help you get out of the problem. Sugar intake is the cause of a lot of illnesses, and you don't have to go to me for your first authority on a statement like that. Back in the 1950s and 1960s, there was a British Royal Navy captain named Thomas L. Cleve, and he wrote a book called The Saccharine Disease. Saccharin does not refer in this case to the artificial sweetener, but rather to a pathological consumption of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So in the 50s and 60s, Dr. Cleve said, stop eating sugar. It's causing diabetes. It's causing heart disease. It's causing arthritis. It's causing cancer. And he actually goes out of his way to show that it is. The first head of the Federal Food and Drug Administration back in 1907 was a medical doctor named Harvey W. Wiley. And Dr. Wiley actually wanted pure foods and drugs. I don't think the FDA has that view today, but there was a time when they did 105 years ago. Dr. Wiley was emphatic. He said that processed sugar causes all kinds of problems in the body, and he listed them out. So medical doctors have known that sugar is harmful to health for over 100 years. Dentists have known that sugar is harmful to health for hundreds of years. Grandmothers have known that sugar is harmful to health for 100 years. And anybody who's ever taught junior high on the day after Halloween will pretty much confirm this.
That's right.
So whatever problem you have, I guarantee sugar will make it worse.
And so let's say your children eat a lot of sugar and you'd like them to eat less sugar or no sugar. What do you suggest?
Well, I'll tell you what we did with my own kids. Whenever they wanted something sweet, and kids do, we would give them something that was better than white sugar. We would give them half a teaspoon of honey, or we would give them a teaspoon of molasses, or we would give them a handful or half a handful of raisins, or we'd give them some dates.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you would be surprised how satisfying and how sweet these foods are. But that first word is the important one. Everybody knows that raisins and honey and dates, molasses are sweet, but not everyone realizes that natural sugars have a self-limiting effect on the body. You go home, wherever you are, listeners, and you have 2 big handfuls of raisins, and you see if you're ready for supper after that. It will kill your appetite, and no mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't be hungry in 20 minutes either. Natural sweets are better than processed sweets. Better still, of course, is to try to give the children some vegetables or a whole grain treat that's made without much sugar. That's even better. You do the best you can when you're raising kids. But I can tell you this, my children had a very low sugar diet, not none. They would have their treats here and there. They'd have some natural candies or some natural ice cream or home-baked goodies. You have to know where to give. With kids, you have to give a little.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of popsicles, we would give them juicicles. We would take natural juice and freeze it in little molds and give them that. This, plus a plant-based diet, and lots of vitamin supplements enabled us to get our kids all the way into college, and they never had a single dose of any antibiotic.
Wow.
Not once, not ever.
Wow. Well, that's an accomplishment. And Andrew, what were the authors you read that got you rolling with this subject?
Linus Pauling, for sure. He came out in favor of megadoses of vitamin C and was roundly criticized for that, even though Dr. Linus Pauling won 2 Nobel Prizes.
Right.
Well, I've noticed that's 2 more Nobels than any of his critics have.
Huh.
The other one was Abram Hoffer, a psychiatrist in Vancouver. Dr. Abram Hoffer started using niacin to treat psychosis and schizophrenia and what we now call bipolar disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and ADHD, way back in the early 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Hoffer was my personal mentor, and we co-authored 4 books.
Yes.
If people go to my website at dryourself.com, my website, where, by the way, there is no product for sale and no advertising except for my books, you'll see that I have 4 books that I wrote with Dr. Hoffer, and that was a wonderful experience. So I would say that Linus Pauling and Dr. Hoffer were my 2 biggest influences.
Well, those are 2 great influences. And Andrew, while we're talking about it, please give us your website once again.
The website is called dryourself.com. Spell out doctor, spell out yourself. Dryourself.com has hundreds of articles that are fun to read and also peer-reviewed by medical and academic professionals. Dr. Yourself is searchable. The search box will help you get around it. The website's pretty big. It's so big that I have to use the search box to find things that I've written. DrYourself.com has no vitamins or products for sale. I have no financial interest or connection with the health products industry whatsoever. Dr. Yourself is the only huge natural healing website on the planet that can make that statement.
Okay, thank you very much. And we have a few minutes left. My question for you is, the subject of diabetes is very important. We touched on it a few minutes ago when we talked about processed sugar. So do you have a protocol how a person who has diabetes could feel better using a natural therapeutic approach?
Yes, of course, it depends on which kind of diabetes, whether it's type 1 or type 2.
Type 2.
If it's type 2 adult onset diabetes, the type that is more amenable to nutritional treatment, first thing to do is to decrease the sugar to the low level, to exercise more, to eat whole, unprocessed foods, and, in my opinion, to begin immediately high doses of the B complex, that's B as in Bobby, high doses of the B complex vitamins. The B complex vitamins, with the addition of chromium, help the body even out highs and lows of blood sugar. Low blood sugar is a problem. High blood sugar is a problem. The B complex vitamins and the mineral chromium help to raise the lows and lower the highs and keep your blood sugar more stable. This is so effective that if someone has type 2 diabetes and starts taking large doses of B vitamins, they're going to have a medication change to a lower dose. Now, that's a good thing.
Yes.
So people that have diabetes obviously should work with their doctor. That's just common sense. If the doctor put you on medication, the doctor should be involved in getting you off of it. When I say high doses of B vitamins, we have to specify that we're talking much, much higher than the laughably low USRDA. We're talking 50 milligrams of most of the major B vitamins 6 times a day.
Wow.
Dividing the dose all through the day works better than just taking your supplements at once in the morning. Massive doses, these massive doses of B vitamins have actually been used successfully to lower the insulin requirements of type 1 diabetics. So think what it can do for type 2.
Right.
But work with your doctor. The book's called Doctor Yourself, but the foreword is written by Dr. Abram Hoffer himself. Dr. Hoffer would tell you, work with your doctor, and if your doctor will not work with you, fire that doctor and get a different doctor. And by the way, that's the name of my other book, Fire Your Doctor.
It's also a good title. It's a very good title. And on the chromium, what potency chromium do you like to recommend, and what form?
It doesn't take a whole lot, and almost any kind will work. Probably the best chromium is chromium polynicotinate, although almost any chromium supplement will work, and your body doesn't need very much. In fact, your body only needs probably in the neighborhood of 200 to 400 micrograms, and a microgram is a millionth of a gram, and a gram is a quarter teaspoon. So your body needs very little chromium. It needs a little. Most people can get that chromium if they eat a good, healthy, natural diet. But nobody can get the massive doses of B vitamins that are necessary to help stop type 2 diabetes. And people always ask me, well, wait a minute, that's not natural. Why do I need these huge doses? And the answer is because you have a pre-existing condition. It's harder to cure than prevent. Eat right and exercise, and I don't think you'll have type 2 diabetes to start with. But if you've got it, you don't be around with this. This is a serious illness, and you don't go into the ring to fight the world champ with one hand tied behind your back. Knowledge is power, always has been. Doctor yourself means learn for yourself, and I hope that my book will help people do exactly that.
Well, Andrew Saul, this has been an excellent interview. I would like to thank you for being a guest on my show today. For the listeners, the book is called...
My pleasure.
The book is called Doctor Yourself by Andrew Saul. It's a new edition. I recommend this book. It's clearly written. It's authoritative. I think you'll find it's an excellent, important book for your library. You're listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.
Walk, run, climb, play. Solgar number 7 can help. Feel the difference for yourself. Solgar number 7 actually shows improvement in joint comfort within 7 days. Now you can start to get back on track fast and pursue the activities you love. Solgar number 7 is a breakthrough in joint care with no glucosamine and no chondroitin. The advanced bioactives in Solgar number 7 help to increase flexibility, mobility, range of motion, and actually shows improvement within just 7 days. One capsule, once a day, is all you need. When stiff joints occasionally say no, Solgar number 7 says yes. Visit Solgar.com and learn more about Solgar number 7 today. That's www.solgar.com, www.solgar.com. Solgar number 7, official sponsors of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane and LA Talk Live.
Oh, your skin looks great.
Thank you.
What's your secret?
Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence.
Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence?
Yes, it's a beauty secret used since the time of the Greeks and the Romans. This spa in Malibu told me about frankincense and myrrh by Ancient Essence, and now my skin is lovely.
Yes, your skin looks great.
Call Ancient Essence at 1-800-627-9813. Discover the secret of beautiful skin. Call 1-800-627-9813. Discover the secret. Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence. Discover the secret of beautiful skin. Available at fine spas and beauty centers.
Hey, are you spending your time or are you wasting your time? Well, kill some time hanging out with Michael Collier, Brooks Jackson, and the whole crew at the Michael Collier Morning Show. I Get Up Late. That's every Tuesday, 3 until 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you don't know what that is, you better get on the internet and look it up. And while you're there, go to latalklive.com and check me out.
Hi, this is Starlet Quarles, and I'm inviting you to join us every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for a new show right here on LA Talk Live, The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. Join us as we discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. So don't forget to tune in to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People, every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
People, it's Jennifer Tapia from StarCam. You guys might know me from the red carpet, catching up with all the stars, but guess what? We're bringing the red carpet to the radio right out here on LA Talk Live. I'm going live Thursday nights at 6 p.m. We got hot topics, celebrities, and much more. We were featured on Chloe Lamar on E!, Howard Stern, T.I.'s Family Hustle. You know how we do. So check it out on Thursday nights, 6 p.m. All things Hollywood, everything celebrity. StarCam Radio?
StarCam Radio? StarCam Radio!
Oh yeah, follow us on Twitter at StarCam Radio.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. And it's my pleasure to have the VPX representatives in, Roland Esparza and Grant Henderson from VPX Nutrition. Thanks for being my guest today. Happy to be here. You've been on my show before, and you have an important line of sports nutrition. I know you got some new stuff. Want to do some of the new stuff here?
Sure, absolutely.
What is this Bang amino acids?
This is actually an energy drink we just launched this year. It is pretty much in the same category, and I want to say that lightly, as the Monster or Red Bull energy drinks, but we are far superior for several reasons. It's a safer product in the sense of health. Sugar-free, 0 calories.
Oh, sugar-free, that's nice.
Yeah. Has amino acids, creatine, glutamine. It is a mild stimulant product, so it's not going to make you go nuts crazy, but it is going to give you a good boost of energy. It has caffeine anhydrous, 357 milligrams, which is about 3 cups of coffee. So you drink the whole 16-ounce can, 3 cups of coffee worth of caffeine.
Okay, so it has caffeine and glutamine and creatine.
Correct.
So it's good for the athlete.
Absolutely. An athlete can drink this. Your everyday, housewife or any person could. Again, it's going to give you a little bit better health benefit and nutrition benefit because of the creatine, glutamine, and branched-chain amino acids. So either one, you can.
And the creatine does what for me?
Creatine helps elevate what's called adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, in the muscle cells, and that's in the mitochondria of every muscle cell. And that pretty much, in layman's terms, helps with explosive power, energy, short-term explosiveness. So an athlete would benefit in, say, tennis, when they're swinging their racket to hit the ball, and having that interval of rest in between hitting the ball, they'd have a quick recovery, and they're able to strike the ball more times before they fatigue. So it is a great benefit, absolutely. Glutamine, of course, the most abundant amino acid in the muscle tissue, and that is going to help with recovery, of course, and prevention of muscle breakdown. And branched-chain amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, those help with prevention of muscle breakdown. So
it's a rather complete product.
Absolutely. In the sense of energy drinks, there's nothing like it on the market. It tastes fantastic. It's been said to taste somewhat like Mountain Dew. It's lightly carbonated. So far, we have a huge amount of success with it. It's selling out every time we make it. So we're real happy with the results from it, and the packaging, for those who can see, is very nice. It's a beautiful can. So you could find this at mass market retailers such as, 7-Eleven and those types
No
of
kidding.
stores.
You're at 7-Eleven now?
Well, we
Wow,
are
that's good.
we are going into that area only because those energy drinks are there, and some of the other nutrition companies are there. So we feel we need to represent
Sure.
ourselves there. That is not our forte, of course. The nutrition stores and retailers are the people we partner with most.
Mhm.
But you can find it just about everywhere, and you will be seeing our products throughout California and beyond in 2013 because we have all the companies picking us up. So
Well, that's actually good.
Yeah.
And you have a background as a martial artist, do you not?
yes, I
That's
do.
your sport.
Yes. MMA, mixed martial arts, Jeet Kune Do, Muay Thai, and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
Okay, so then you obviously enjoy sport, you enjoy martial arts, you enjoy working out,
Absolutely.
Right.
Part of my everyday life for the last 35 years. So.
and that's what attracted you to this profession.
Correct. Yes. It's very enjoyable for me. I love my job. Every day I get up and I'm excited because it's something I'm passionate about and it's something I do. So very, very good.
And what kind of products do you have for the athlete maybe just starting out?
It really depends on what you mean by starting out. Now, if we're talking about a high school athlete or someone more entry level like
Let's start with high school. That sounds good.
our Carbonics, which is our new carbohydrate powder, this is very safe. It's low in sugars, so meaning that on the glycemic index, it's rated at number 3, which is very low. So it doesn't spike your insulin, doesn't spike your blood sugar, and that's good because it keeps your energy levels nice and steady. It's going to allow you to still burn body fat, but you're going to get the benefit of the carbohydrate and giving you endurance. So it's very advanced. Also, our product digests within 15 minutes on average, and we have the studies to back it up. If you go to vpxsports.com, you'll see that we have studies showing that this product will digest in 15 minutes, not cause gas or bloating, unlike many other carbohydrate powders on the market. So it's very easy on the stomach while you're training. It can be taken before, during, or after training.
So this is not a weight gainer for young men.
No, sir, but it could be used in conjunction with other powders to help with gaining weight. So indirectly, I would say, it could be used in that regard, but I don't say that's not what our target market really is. It's more the athlete that wants endurance and performance in whatever sport they participate in.
And what's the source of this carbohydrate?
It is a dextrin, so it's a food starch that's modified. So a little bit secret for us. We try not to put that out too much because there's a lot of copycats out there trying to get our formulas. And we have our own GMP facility, as I told you last time I was on the show.
Yeah, you manufacture your own products.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And it is FDA GMP approved. And
well, that's important.
Yes, sir. We have our own scientist. The owner, Jack Owak, he's a biochemist, and he's passionate about putting his products on the market that are high quality, and his formulations are very unique. We've pioneered quite a few, and this is something that a lot of people are chasing us for, and we have a good market share already coming, and it's going very well for us.
Grant, you have a thought on this?
I'm just going to ask Roland, what's our sources of carbs in this?
It is a dextrin, but the actual source is a corn source. So,
and how do I use that if I was a teenage boy?
If you're a teenage boy, you can take this before you train,
Like a
anywhere from
tablespoon?
30 to 45 minutes. No, a couple scoops. It's really up to you. I mean, a serving size for us on the label is 1 scoop, and that's about 40 grams of powder. If you have the budget, this is 25 servings. If you have the budget, you can go, 2-3 servings a day if you'd like, without any harm or problem. So it really depends on the athlete and the other items that they're eating during the day and supplements they're taking would also dictate how this would be used. But ideally, maybe a scoop before and a scoop during training, and then a scoop at another time during the day. So 3 scoops a day would be the prime if you were going to take this.
And what else could a beginning athlete or a young athlete use successfully?
A protein powder. Our SRO protein, for example, this is a whey protein isolate. It's filtered with reverse osmosis.
Whey protein,
Yes, sir. That is a milk protein, but this is lactose removed. It's been filtered through a reverse osmosis technique, which basically we're one of the few companies doing that. It's very expensive. It's a ceramic filtration system, but it removes the impurities, ash, and moisture from the product to the point where your purity levels are so high, and it's such a clean product it digests very easily. So in scientific terms, the bioavailability of this product is amazing. It digests very, very well. Low sodium, very high quality protein.
And whey protein has the highest biological value?
Yes, it does.
It's better than soy. It's
Better than soy,
rice.
better than rice, better than casein or caseinate proteins. Absolutely, this is the best.
And how much of this do I use?
Anywhere from 1 to 3 scoops a day would be sufficient. Again, it's going to be dictated by several things: your body weight. Ideally, an athlete would want to use 1 gram to 1.5 grams of protein per day per pound of body weight, and that would be.
Wait, let me have that once again.
1 gram to 1.5 grams of protein per day in body weight.
So how much do you weigh?
If I'm 220 pounds, so I would want to take
You're solid.
at least 220 grams of protein or more per day as my total intake of protein. So that
In
would be
divided
food.
dosages?
Yes, sir. Ideally, 30 to 50 grams at a time is best to make sure you can digest it completely and well. So, a guy that's my weight, you want to try to take in that amount of protein to ensure your muscle tissue is recovering and getting the nutrition it needs to repair. Basically, you're tearing down muscle as you're exercising and training, so that repair and growth occurs from the amino acids, which the protein is converted into. in your body.
You're in your 30s, are you not?
I'm in my 40s.
You're in your 40s?
Yes, sir, 45.
Okay. And by taking this amount of protein, this allows you to maintain your mass?
Absolutely, yes.
And if you didn't take that amount of protein, you'd get a little skinnier, in your opinion?
Yeah, I would definitely. I've definitely seen from my own, training experience that I've stopped taking protein and then started again just to experiment, and I notice a huge difference in my ability to maintain my lean muscle. Maybe Grant can interject, because Grant actually competed in bodybuilding.
Oh, you did?
I did for many years, Josh. From the age of 17 is when I started. I started working out at the age of 15, which is a little young for most people. But my first competition in South Africa at 17, and then I did about 24 shows before meeting with Joe Weider. You might know Joe.
Yes, for sure.
And his brother Ben at the IFBB Universe in Korea. And he said, get over to America and see what you can do over there. So I have quite a long resume in competitive bodybuilding. I don't compete anymore, but I certainly work out every day.
And when you work with older men, because as you get older, surprisingly, you start to lose mass. You end up getting kind of scrawny.
Sure.
And so you recommend the additional whey protein to keep the mass up?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that's just nature taking over.
Mm-hmm.
The hormones, as you probably know, will start to decrease. Growth hormone and testosterone slowly start to decline after the age of about 40. So I think a stringent and strict diet and high protein diet are probably more important than ever, just to maintain muscle mass. Absolutely.
And may I ask how tall you are and how much you weigh?
I'm about 6'9". Okay, I'm kidding. I'm barely 5'10", and I maintain about 225 now. At my heaviest, I was up at 240, 245, and I was lucky. I got a lot of coverage in the magazines. They said I had that all-American look, even though I was born and raised in Zimbabwe. But that got me my green card and started a whole new life for me here in America.
And so you feel, may I ask how old you are right now?
I am 40-something.
Okay, 40-something.
43.
And is it hard for you to maintain your weight?
It's getting harder, yes. I've noticed that. I have. And again, that's just a sign of age. And, it's something that I have to come to terms with. But, I'm just going to have to do anything and everything in my power with correct nutrition and supplementation to...
Well, how about creatine monohydrate? How much do you use? What do you recommend?
I only use about 5 grams a day. I've noticed that if I go to, and I do believe in creatine monohydrate, by the way, always have, but I think if I overload on it, I start to get a little bit of water retention, which isn't a nice look. I'd rather have the sleek look, a lean look. So.
And you find that the creatine keeps your weight up?
Absolutely. Yeah. And in mixed martial arts especially, I'm doing a combination of weight training, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and then grappling and jiu-jitsu. And so that all that interval training that's associated with it, the difference is amazing with the product, and it's absolutely a necessity for me to maintain and recover. Absolutely.
And this new sports drink of yours, the Bang.
Yes, sir.
So if I was to give this to, say, a teenage boy, would I give them a third of the can or something before the event? And
And I want to stress this a little bit that we don't always recommend that children or teenagers are given energy drinks. So I want to point that out that VPX is very cautious about those statements, and it's a discretionary point with the parents. But if you were going to give it to a teenager, I would say someone more in the neighborhood of 17, 18 years old, and about 20 to 30 minutes before an event would be just fine, and they could even sip on it during the event if they don't mind the carbonation. Some athletes do mind carbonated drinks, of course, because it causes a little bit of gas. Right. So that's a personal issue, but still, it's definitely something that would improve their performance, and you'd see a difference.
It would just make them stronger.
Just the energy levels. If it was taken consistently with other supplements, and you were taking other creatine supplements, this would just add into that creatine dose you're taking daily. So sure, if you were using the product on a daily basis, you'd definitely notice a strength difference and an explosiveness difference.
And I see you have a product here called Protein Rush.
Yes, sir.
And that's been around. Is that a new product? Or been around for a while?
No, actually, it's been around for a few years now. This is our ready-to-drink protein. It has 40 grams of protein, less than 300 calories in a 17-ounce serving. It's very low in sugar,
calories?
less than 300, about 290.
So it's not a weight gainer.
Depends on the flavor, but no, sir. This is more of a meal replacement. It is a high-protein, low-carbohydrate drink. So this is more for the person on the go, don't have time to mix up their powders. It's going to give them all the benefit of taking a meal replacement type protein shake, which typically has a profile of protein, carbohydrates, some fats, and some nutrients like vitamins and minerals. So this product for us is amazing. We have a huge following. A lot of the other products on the market like it have a higher amount of sugar, higher calories. So we've definitely been able to take a good market share because of the low sugar content and low calorie content while still maintaining a delicious taste.
And the low sugar content is actually progressive thinking, isn't it? I mean, because obviously we recognize too much processed sugar is undesirable.
Absolutely,
right.
Yes. There's a number of health issues that are related to that's been found over the years through studies, and we recognize that as a company. And we're not out just to put supplements out there just to make them and throw them out into the market. Unfortunately, there are companies that do that.
There are.
And I don't ever like to put anybody down specifically, but it's unfortunate that there's some companies that'll not really consider the health of our public without with the mind of making money only. So,
but the young men who buy these and all the people who buy them, the market has become pretty sophisticated now. It's not like it was in the 70s.
Oh no.
And so if you sell someone something and it doesn't work, they don't buy it again. No. Not only that, they bring it back. They're mad at you. They don't listen to you anymore. Yeah. So these products had better work.
We're dealing with a much more educated consumer than ever before. There's the internet. You can Google things and go online and find things in forums. There's so many sources to find out the information on these products and ingredients now, and it's really a benefit to us that we can get this information before we put something into our body. So to me, it's a good thing, and we always say, hey, we challenge anybody to take our products, test them. You can do an HPLC test, which is high pressure liquid chromatography, and that'll show you everything in the product.
Right.
And
that seems important.
Our products meet label or exceed it, and we have our own HPLC machines to verify that in every batch we make. So
that's important.
Yes. So and like you said, the sugar content and all that is always something we watch. And Jack Owak, again, being a biochemist but also an avid bodybuilder and workout enthusiast, he's a guy that takes this himself, so he's very cautious about what he puts into his own body.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
For those of you just tuning in today to Here's to Your Health, we're speaking to Roland Esparza and Grant Henderson. They represent VPX Sports Nutrition, which is a national company, and they've been here before. And when you were here before, I asked you about your background and how you got involved with it, and how the products are much more sophisticated than they were in the 70s.
Yes, sir.
And we made a few jokes about the quality of the products then. But I see the products now really... So who else besides athletes are using these? Are these using these in any clinical situations in any way?
Sure. We find that people that have been in accidents that are limited on what they can actually eat, like if you have a broken jaw, you could take, a protein powder. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And, this is going to provide a very good amount of nutrition where they can actually, benefit not only survive, but benefit from it. You have people that are busy and on the go. I travel from my job quite a bit, and frankly, I take the protein bars, I take shakes with me all the time. If I didn't have those, I wouldn't be eating, because I miss meals if I don't have that bar, to grab and eat.
Are the soldiers of the United States Army allowed to use your product?
Absolutely. And
are they sold
I'm
on
a veteran
base?
myself, so yes. Oh, yes, sir. 8 years. And we're very big with the military and armed forces in general. So.
Because I know that the military, they will occasionally step in and say, okay, we're not selling that anymore. That product is out.
We have a very close relationship with the Army Air Force Exchange Services. It's AAFES, which is a base exchange where the soldiers shop, and the Marine Corps Exchange Services. So, we're on the bases. Our product line can be found there, and the soldiers use our products, and they go through a pretty stringent screening process to make sure that they're safe for the soldiers to use, and we pass every time with flying colors.
And again, your VPX company, you are not a private label company.
No,
you
sir.
manufacture your own supplements in your own laboratory.
Yes, sir. And we are starting to do some labeling private label for other companies, just to shoot it out there in case anyone's listening. We are doing some manufacturing now for anyone that's looking to have a product made.
But the fact that you have your own manufacturing facility, it allows you a level of quality control that people just put their label on it, even if they're well-intentioned, don't have, and it keeps the price down, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We do have to operate at a little bit higher margin as far as pricing goes, and that's necessary for us to maintain our business and operate it the way we do, but we won't change it. We have our own scientists, quality assurance personnel, research and development, our own equipment to test everything. We make sure when we're putting something out there, it's not only safe, but well-researched. Yes, sir.
Yes, again, if a young man buys it or a guy buys it, and it doesn't work, they don't buy it again. They just don't buy it. They move it because they try something else. So these products have got to work.
Yes, sir.
What's your best seller, by the way?
I would have to say it's a tie between the Red Line. That's our energy drink.
It's been around for a while, hasn't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we've had that for quite a while. And the Shotgun, which is our pre-workout, and that sells.
What's the Shotgun?
The Shotgun, actually, we have our 12-gauge Shotgun here. I didn't bring the Shotgun because I showed that last time. Our 12-gauge Shotgun is the new version of Shotgun, and the old Shotgun formula we are maintaining in our inventory, but we're going to add this. And basically, these products are pre-workout, so they're before a workout event, weight training or anything else you're participating in.
How long before workout?
30 to 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's going to give you energy. It's going to help with your strength, explosive power. It's going to create more blood flow to the muscle through vasodilation, and that comes in the form of different amino acids or agmatine, which is what's in the 12-gauge Shotgun.
What's in it?
One. Agmatine.
I don't know that.
Agmatine is basically, and again in layman's terms, it's a very strong vasodilator, meaning it opens up the blood vessels and allows blood flow into the tissues. Mm-hmm. And that, for an athlete or a person working out, is a huge benefit because blood is a carrier of nutrients to the tissues, so it's going to help with recovery, growth, and of course a lot of the bodybuilders like that pump, and it is going to help that pump quite a bit. And then it has creatine and glutamine, and so it has all your staple things in there that are going to help with growth, strength, pump, even some recovery and prevention of muscle breakdown as well.
How much do I use of that?
1 scoop prior to your event.
In TO water or something?
Anywhere from 8 to 16 ounces of water. I think that's a personal preference. I like to use less water. Some guy and kind of do a shot of it, and some guys like to mix it up into 16 ounces and sip on it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people even drink it not only before, but they'll sip on it during their training too if they're doing an extended workout. Sure. So, so this is really, really popular for us. The 12-gauge Shotgun is new, but it's gaining popularity very fast. And again, it's in addition to our other Shotgun, which is the Shotgun MHF1. So these two products are, I would say, our best sellers.
And the earlier product, what's the difference?
The earlier product has 18 grams of whey protein in it. This does not. This has Carbonics, our carbohydrate, in there. This is a little bit more intense on the energy side. We added a energy stimulant base that's stronger for the central nervous system and the adrenals. So it's going to give you a harder hit as far as energy goes. And then this has the agmatine for vasodilation, whereas the other formula has citrulline and arginine. So, a little different, but they both kind of target the athlete the same way. We would say our 12 gauge shotgun is probably for a more advanced athlete because of that more intense energy hit and the agmatine and some of the other ingredients we've put in.
Are you one of the few companies that use agmatine?
Yes, there are companies starting to use it. Of course, we feel like we're trendsetters and we lead the pack in cutting edge technology, and we were one of the first companies to put it out there.
Well, when they imitate you, it is kind of flattering.
It is.
It is
quite
really,
flattering.
Yeah, it is flattering, actually.
And it's fun because because again, Jack Oak being a biochemist, he's so passionate about our product development, and I'm sure Grant can verify this when he was just with me at our corporate office a few weeks back. Wouldn't you agree that Jack comes into the office every evening and helps with sampling and developing product, passes it around? I mean, you could probably give a few words
Jack
on
comes
that.
in around 4 p.m. when we're starting to burn out at the end of the day, and completely fires us up with his enthusiasm and very deep knowledge on product development, and very inspiring. Absolutely.
Well, it's nice to have a boss who really inspires you. Frankly, that's part of actually the job description of the boss.
Right.
A good one.
Right. Yeah.
Makes you realize, oh my God, there's so much I can do with this subject. It's actually it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very exciting to work for this company. I mean, I wouldn't want to be any other place after 21 years in this industry. I can tell you, I've seen them all.
Sure.
And this is a good place to be.
No, it's nice to have a quality product that you manufacture. I also noticed that you have bars.
Yes,
you have
sir.
Are these protein bars?
Yes, sir. We have this is our Bang Bar. Our Bang Bar is actually one of two different types of bars we make. We make the Zero Impact Bar and then the Bang Bar. They're both pretty much the same bar in the sense of what they contain in protein, which is about 30 grams. They have about 7 to 8 grams of dietary fiber. Mm-hmm. They're gluten-free. They are... The carbohydrates all come from rolled oats, nuts, and seeds. Has some good fats in there from the nuts and seeds as well. Mm-hmm. They're low glycemic, and that's why we call the other bar the Zero Impact Bar. The reason we call this the Bang Bar is because this one has 5 grams of creatine. The Zero Impact does not, and that's really what differentiates the two products. Okay. So, but they are like a meal, and they're uncoated, so they can survive in hot temperature, cold temperature. I even know people that are preparing for doomsday, and they actually put these things and store them. I'm sure that's a whole nother subject for you. I can tell by the look on your face. They got their bunker full of Bang Bars. So for those of you preparing,
well, that's okay. It's a big universe. Everyone has their own way of seeing the universe. Yes, but I will say this. Come back to the creatine, the 5 grams of creatine. So if it's any of us use 5 grams a day, would we really theoretically gain about 5 pounds or 6 pounds of muscle in a month?
You know what? That's also going to be dictated by your diet, mm-hmm. how you train, and your activity level aside from working out. I mean, you could be a person that sits at a desk all day, and I could be a guy that delivers for UPS and throws packages all day. Now, my caloric intake and diet versus yours and my activity level all will play a role in that. But I would say if everything else was static and we just added creatine, sure, you would see a gain. And it may not be 5 pounds, but you would see a notable gain in strength, your energy level as far as quick explosive movement, and then of course your weight.
Okay, I have a theoretical question for you.
Yes, sir.
Let's say our grandparents have been sick recently, and they don't, and let's say our grandmothers don't necessarily want to gain any weight, but they want to regain their strength. So if our grandmothers or our moms were to use, say, 2.5 grams of creatine a day, would they be stronger in a month and gain 0 weight? It's theoretical. But.
Okay, theoretically speaking, I would say yes. Based on what I've seen, the research out there, my experience in the last 20 years with it, yes, I would say they'd notice a difference in strength.
Right,
absolutely.
But they would gain 0 weight.
I wouldn't think with 2.5 grams, but once again, it would be dictated also by their food intake and their activity.
But if I was to give a woman 5 grams of creatine, even a very slim woman, then there would be some weight gain in about a month, would there not?
Most likely, yes. Most likely. I mean, the water that's pushed into the muscle tissues alone caused by creatine, that is something that's normal. That would probably even be associated with some weight gain. So,
all right. Those of you just tuning in, we're speaking with Roland and Grant from VPX Sports. How do we get in contact with you about How do we check out your website?
It's vpxsports.com. You can go on there and find all of our research. We have a lot of great information. We have forums, all the cutting edge products we produce. We have very detailed information on there, and a lot of testimonials too. So we have a lot of.
And your VPX Sports products are sold where at
nutrition
Lindbergh
retailers, Lindbergh Nutrition,
all
which,
over.
You just had Gordon
We had
Santee
Gordon
on
here,
here.
yes.
Yeah, LA Urban Fitness. We have a new store opening in Hollywood. We're partnering up with Active Nutrition on Sunset Boulevard,
Good
right
area.
by Equinox.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's going to be an amazing store. You might want to talk to him. And, so you can find us everywhere. And if not, you can buy products directly from us online at our website, once again, vpxsports.com.
vpxsports.com.
Yeah. I also wanted to quickly mention this, and I was hoping to get a little bit of this in.
Sure.
But we have a new program. It's called Vivo 360.
What's it called?
Vivo 360, VIVO 360. And basically, this is a body recomposition program that we're launching for 2013. This is something that a retail store, a gym, a trainer, or any individual can get a hold of and either resell or utilize themselves.
Yeah.
The whole concept of the program is to have 3 phases where they can have meal plans, supplementation, and workout regimens that are going to be all custom tailored towards their goals.
You guys do that for them?
Yes, we've actually
that sounds
developed
good.
this, and it's vivo-360.com. Now, this whole program, we've had a number of people that we've used for testing. And again, we never put anything out without research, trial, and tests. We make sure our products work. And this isn't an actual supplement, but this works in conjunction with our supplements. We have a phone app, we have a kiosk, we have the Meltdown Diet book, which is written by Jack Gowak, who has well over 20 years of research and study and scientific background in this industry. But and you could see, Josh, that we have police officers that have been involved in the testing, housewives, older gentlemen like Mike Lemus, who's in phenomenal condition. This guy's 56 years old, and he's better shape than most guys that are 20.
A young guy, eh?
Yeah, and he's definitely an amazing looking guy. And Grant would tell you, we just had a little time with him this past week, and he looks amazing.
He looks good.
But I just wanted to say that we definitely want to come up with something where we can give some of your listeners a free trial of this, because it's less than $4 a week to sign up online. Again, it's vivo-360.com. But you sign up. It has a phone app, so if you have a smartphone or you have an iPhone, you'll be able to access this on your phone. So it'll actually remind you when to eat, what to supplement, everything.
Oh my goodness.
This does it all for you. It's like a trainer on your phone, and you can go online as well. And it's going to give you everything you need to get in shape, reach your goals, turn your body around. Basically, that's what we call a Vivo 360. Give you a whole 360 on your.
That's a very nice idea.
Yeah,
Good
and
for you.
we already have a huge amount of interest with this product, and it's this program, and it's doing very well for us. And again, you can find more information on vpxsports.com. But I will talk to you about maybe doing a giveaway if you'd like.
Sure.
And we can get some people on it.
Sounds good.
Again, it's a 3-phase program that'll literally turn your life around. I don't care how old you are, what you do, what your walk of life is.
Sounds real good.
Maybe we'll put you on it, Josh. What do you
Maybe.
say?
Maybe. We've been chatting with Roland Esparza and Grant from VPX Nutrition. You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Oh, your skin looks great.
Thank you.
What's your secret?
Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence.
Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence?
Yes, it's a beauty secret used since the time of the Greeks and Romans. The spa in Malibu told me about frankincense and myrrh by Ancient Essence, and now my skin is lovely.
Well, your skin looks great.
Call Ancient Essence at 1-800-627-9813. Discover the secret of beautiful skin. Call 1-800-627-9813. Discover the secret. Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence. Discover the secret of beautiful skin. Available at fine spas and beauty centers.
Walk, run, climb, play. Solgar number 7 can help. Feel the difference for yourself. Solgar number 7 actually shows improvement in joint comfort within 7 days. Now you can start to get back on track fast and pursue the activities you love. Solgar number 7 is a breakthrough in joint care with no glucosamine and no chondroitin. The advanced bioactives in Solgar number 7 help to increase flexibility, mobility, range of motion, and actually shows improvement within just 7 days. One capsule, once a day, is all you need. When stiff joints occasionally say no, Solgar number 7 says yes. Visit Solgar.com and learn more about Solgar number 7 today. That's www.solgar.com, www.solgar.com. Solgar number 7, official sponsors of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane and LA Talk Live.
Hi, this is Susie Pruden. And yes, you've seen me on Oprah, Good Morning America, and The Today Show. And I'm inviting you to join me every Monday from 3 to 4 for my new show, Mastermind Live. Join us as we introduce you to the new thought leaders of the world who will inspire you, support you, and guide you to your next level. So don't forget to tune into Mastermind Live exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is James Kinney from Kinney Group Creative, inviting you to join us every Thursday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for our all-new show, What Catches Fire. We're going to be discussing the love, life, and politics of the American brand. So don't forget to tune in to latalklive.com every Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. In this segment, we have an important segment, and there's an important group called Mothers Against Drunk Driving, which has been around now, I think, for more than 20 years, probably longer than that. And that group was one of the first in the United States to discuss the problems associated with drunk driving and what happens when drunk driving occurs, and to suggest and to cause to be implemented legislation so that when a person is a drunk driver and they get caught and they cause illness or death to someone, that indeed they're held accountable. Those of you who are very young might not actually remember this, but years ago, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, if you're a drunk driver and you kill someone with your car, oftentimes people thought, oh, that's an unfortunate occurrence. And that was it. But now, because of groups like Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and probably Mothers Against Drunk Driving being the principal reason, if a person does that kind of terrible deed, causes that kind of illness or death, that person goes to jail, and we take it for granted now that they go to jail. But it was groups like Mothers Against Drunk Driving which promoted that kind of an important idea. And today I have the good fortune to have Kath Roby, a representative from Mothers Against Drunk Driving here in Los Angeles, as our guest. Kath Roby, thank you for being a guest on Here's to Your Health.
Thank you for having me.
It is a great pleasure to have you on. And so Mothers Against Drunk Driving, when was it founded?
It was founded about 25 years ago by a mom who lost her daughter to a drunk driver.
Mm-hmm.
And, they've come, it's a grassroots organization. It's come a long way since then. And just like you said, there has been so much done, and they've made so many strides in not just legislation and, stricter laws, harsher penalties for impaired drivers, but awareness. And I think that is a key thing, making society aware of what an impaired driver is, how to avoid being an impaired driver, how to avoid being the victim of impaired driver. And what you said is, so true. Back when I was growing up, I didn't know what a drunk driver was. Right. We didn't talk about that. Right. I had no idea. And now we are very aware. Our kids are aware. It's addressed in the schools. They know what it is. They know how to keep themselves safe and others safe as well. So I think that's key. Teach them when they're young and have that mindset. And
Mothers Against Drunk Driving, you have been one of the prime reasons why this subject is taught in school now? Well,
MAD, MAD does a lot. They do a lot for victims, but they also do a lot of prevention education. In schools, they partner with law enforcement to teach the kids in school about impaired driving. They have a lot of literature out for under 21, and they teach how to keep yourself safe. If you ever find yourself, what they teach the kids is under 21, obviously there's zero tolerance. There's a law in California called the Zero Tolerance Law, which makes it illegal for anyone under the age of 21 to have any alcohol in their system.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, under 21.
Under 21, mm-hmm. Zero tolerance law in the state of California. So as a minor, you're not allowed to have any alcohol in your system, whether you're driving a car or not. It's against the law. And so that's something that's taught to the kids. But if you ever find yourself in a situation where you have alcohol in your system, what do? You never attempt to drive a car. If you find yourself in a situation where the person who's driving you is impaired, mm-hmm. either by alcohol or drugs, and we talk about drunk driving, but really it encompasses impaired driving, whether you're under the influence of alcohol or drugs, because that's becoming a lot more prevalent. But never get into a vehicle with a driver who's impaired.
And impaired means what exactly?
Under the influence of either alcohol or drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And what Matt teaches is, the impairment begins with the very first drink. And so whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, and that can be illegal drugs, it could be prescription drugs, mm-hmm. And that's becoming a bigger problem, wherein people who, and not necessarily, we're talking about minors, but now I'm just kind of making a broad statement. Anyone who is under the influence of a prescription medication, whether it could be sleeping pills or some kind of pain medication, people have the misconception that if it's a medication that's prescribed to them, then it's okay to take it and it's okay to drive. But if, in fact, it does cause some kind of impairment, it is against the law.
Right. Right. And has MAD, the organization, been responsible for that change of consciousness?
Well, they're doing I will say yes. I mean, it's something that's just starting to become more prevalent, and so they talk about impaired driving as a whole, but I mean, they do focus on drunk driving, but they are starting to encompass, impaired driving. I mean, that's always addressed. And I know when I go out to schools, and my daughter usually comes with me, and she's a senior in high school, we talk about impaired driving, not just drunk driving.
Mm-hmm. And so, but MAD, when was it? 1989? When did it first? Was it?
Yeah, I believe it was 1989.
Okay. So at that time, if someone was killed by a drunk driver, it was like nothing, right? Nothing was done.
I wouldn't say nothing, but I would say that not a lot was done. I mean, it would be very rare where somebody would do any jail time because of drunk driving. Mm-hmm. And now you see, such a different way that it's seen by society, I would say, that not only are you going to get fined, you're going to get arrested, you're going to go to jail, it's going to cost you for a first offense, even assuming that you didn't hurt anyone and there's no serious property damage, mm-hmm. It's going to cost you anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 for a first offense.
Really?
Yes, so it's very, very expensive when you take into consideration attorney's fees, court fees, DMV fees, higher insurance rates, all those things. I mean, it is very, very costly. And I will also say now, for many jobs, it's a disqualifier for a job, where back in the 60s and 70s it was not, and now it is. There's also something new in California, and there's actually 13 states in the United States that have this law in effect for all offenders. But California is doing it on a trial basis, and it's an ignition interlock device law, where anyone convicted of drunk driving will have to have a ignition interlock device placed on their vehicle. And there's 4 counties where they're doing a trial here in California, and Los Angeles is one of them. It's Los Angeles, San Diego, Tulare, and I believe Alameda County are the 4 trial counties, but Los Angeles is one. So if you are arrested in Los Angeles County, whether it's your first offense, your third offense, you'll be required to have an ignition interlock device placed on your vehicle.
Now, all this new penalties, mm-hmm. has it brought down deaths caused by drunk driving?
Yes. I mean, this law just went into effect like a little over a year ago, so it's really hard to say. But in the states where it's a mandatory ignition interlock device for all offenders, it has dropped it substantially, and it varies by state. But yes, because what it does is it separates the drunk driver from their vehicle. So, for instance, I was a victim of a drunk driver. I was a victim of, my daughter and I were a victim of a 4th-time offender. Who had a blood alcohol of 0.27, and in California the illegal limit is 0.08. So she was 3.5 times the limit.
It was a woman hit your car.
A woman who hit us. And
what kind of car did you have?
I had a Toyota truck.
What did she have?
She had a Honda.
Truck or car?
Car, and she broadsided us. It sent our car spinning about 300 feet out of control through an intersection. We went onto somebody's property. We came to rest when we collided with a tree.
God.
And my daughter and I both, we were very, very lucky. We both sustained very serious injuries, and we were very lucky to escape with our lives. And, I feel fortunate because being involved with MAD, so many victims of impaired drivers, they don't live to tell their story. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I feel fortunate, and we're, giving back and spreading the awareness. But and it was actually my daughter who kind of pushed our family forward into getting involved and making a difference.
And now the woman who hit you, did the cops pick her up? Did she run away? What did she try to do?
She was arrested. She was convicted of felony driving under the influence of alcohol with great bodily injury. But had she had an ignition interlock device on her vehicle, she would have never been able to start her car. So what it does is, like I said, it separates the drunk driver from his or her vehicle.
So this is a new technology that's promising.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
What's it called again?
Ignition interlock device, mm-hmm. and it's basically a little device that's hooked onto the ignition, and it has to be, and when it when it's placed on your vehicle, by law, the offender it's another cost. They will have to pay for the device. They will have to pay for the monitoring of the device, and it has to be calibrated once every 2 months, and any violations or anything are reported to DMV, to the probation department, so it will violate your probation. And you have to actually be trained on the device to learn how to use it. You don't just blow. It's more of a voice-activated kind of humming blow, so you can't just get anybody to blow into it. I mean, but truthfully, anybody who wants to get around the system is going to get around the system, but it's in place to protect you, to protect others who are out there, innocent victims.
And before this new technology, did the greater understanding of the problems with alcohol and driving, did that bring down traffic fatalities?
I don't know that I think the awareness, yes, brings it down, but there's still so many.
How many are there a year in the United States?
In the United States, I was actually just looking at the stats before I came. There was over 9,000 deaths.
Still 9,000 deaths?
Yes.
With alcohol?
With alcohol. Now, in California, there are over 200,000 people arrested every year for impaired driving.
Really? Oh, wow. I had no idea. Wow.
And those are the ones that are caught. Okay, so you think how many are out there driving impaired who are not arrested? So, it's huge. There's over
200,000. My goodness.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Okay, now let me ask you a difficult question. I think what you're doing sounds good. Who is opposed to what you're doing?
Who is opposed? You'd be surprised. We'd get a lot of resistance. I would say the alcohol industry.
Yes. So, without getting into trouble here, but what do they do to you, to your group? What do they try to do?
Oppose legislation that we're trying to push forward. We get resistance from all kinds of different people for various reasons. But, the bottom line is MAD is here to save lives, save lives and, protect the community. And it's a crime that is 100% preventable. So this is a crime that doesn't have to happen. This is a crime that we have a cure for. I mean, there's so many things out there that we don't have cures for. There is a cure for this. And it's 100% preventable, yet there's thousands and thousands and thousands of deaths every year because of impaired driving.
And my question is, what argument do the liquor companies present to the legislature to defeat your efforts?
Most recently for the ignition interlock device, I don't know specifically because I wasn't really involved in that. But I know it's, that they overreact. It's really not a big problem. It's not the problem that they say it is, so things like that I'm aware of. But
they try to poo-poo it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really not necessary. And it doesn't, impaired driving doesn't really take the lives that we say.
And these liquor companies who try to influence legislators, do they let the legislators know that they're from a liquor company? Or
No.
do they have frontmen?
They have frontmen that do it. So it's, other organizations.
Have an MD or PhD who does it for them. Mhm.
Yes.
And do the legislators understand that? I mean, you tell the legislators that? You point that out to them?
I'm sure they're aware. Like I said, I'm not up in Sacramento at the state office that handles all that, but I'm sure they're aware. But, you have, they're very persuasive. They've got a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so, it's a battle. It's a battle. So for Matt to have this ignition interlock, I mean, they were really pushing hard for this. So this was huge, even as a trial, even though it isn't all over California, you got to start somewhere. So even that it's just a trial in 4 counties.
So when it started when? Last year?
A year and a half ago. So in July 1st of 2011.
What counties?
Los Angeles County, Alameda County, San Diego County, and Tulare County.
Where's Tulare County?
Tulare is up north.
Okay. So actually, Los Angeles County, that's an important county.
It's
so
an
that
important
was
county. Yeah,
progressive.
it's huge. Yes, very much so.
And
Very much so.
has anyone commented that they're happy with MAD for that? Has there been a reduction already on some of this?
Well, I mean, I don't want Matt to take 100% of the credit
Right.
because it was the California Office of Traffic Safety, it's the National Highway Traffic
People
Safety
working
Board.
together.
Yes, it's law enforcement. I mean, it was a collaborative effort, but certainly, Matt was a driving force. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll be huge in saving lives. Hopefully, it can be statewide.
And so 9,000 deaths a year in the United States. How many injuries?
You know what? I don't have the statistics on that offhand, But
And people with broken backs and you name it.
correct. I mean, it's probably fivefold that. I mean, there's, and the thing is not just deaths, injuries, the victims, and then there's the families that are left to pick up the pieces for whatever happens, whether their loved one was killed, whether their loved one is injured, somebody's got to care for them. I mean, it just, and even not just the victim, and their families, but what about the impaired driver? The woman who hit us, she went to jail. She had a child.
How long did she go to jail for?
Well, that's kind of a sore subject with me, but because of the time lapse between her third and fourth conviction, she was treated as a first-time offender. So she only got a few months in jail.
What do you mean? So it occurred like 3 or 4 years earlier, the earlier conviction?
Right. It was several years earlier, her third one. And then her fourth one, because of that time lapse, they treated her as a first-time offender. And so she only got a few months in jail. She had to go to rehab, 2 different inpatient rehab and an outpatient rehab. And, and here we were, she's already out of jail, out of rehab, and, we're still trying to recover from our injuries. So.
But did that woman, how many years ago was this?
It was 5 years ago.
Has that woman, is she back in jail again or no? She been good?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
But the problem of someone being caught for drunken driving 3, 4, 5 times, what do you do with them? I mean, it's not, you kind of, as a society, you kind of think to yourself, oh my God, there's nothing we can really do. They're self-destructive. I mean, what do we do?
Well, that's a tough question. Unfortunately, even when, she had a valid license, believe it or not, but even if you suspend their license, revoke their license, they're still going to be driving without a license.
Right, by percentage, some actually do.
Yeah.
So what are they, just substance abusers, or just unfortunate people? They're just.
I mean, it's probably a combination where they've got a serious substance abuse problem, or they don't care, or they're in denial. They don't think they have a problem. I mean, it's probably a multitude of a bunch of different reasons. But the bottom line is they're a danger to society, and they're out there. And so when you're driving, you have to be very, very careful. For impaired drivers, you have to be so vigilant, because it can just come out of nowhere. And like I said, it happened to me, and I consider myself a very, very safe and cautious driver. I had the right of way. It was late at night, not late at night, but 9 o'clock at night. She didn't have her headlights on. I never saw her.
Oh, my goodness.
Never saw her come through the intersection. So I don't really remember the crash at all.
Did you injure your back?
I injured my back, my neck, my leg. I ended up with my head staple closed. I didn't walk for about 6 months.
Oh, wow.
I had a tough go. And, you talk about victims. It was me, my daughter, she was injured. And, my husband, we have 4 kids, so we needed help taking care of our family.
I gotcha.
So it just kind of snowballs.
Right. Wow. Well, this is a serious topic. How can people learn more about MADD, possibly volunteer? What's the contact information?
You can go on MADD.org.
That's MADD.
MADD.org. And then you can find a MADD chapter in the closest one to wherever you live. MADD, unfortunately, there's not a lot. For instance, in California, I mean, there's a lot, but for instance, MADD Los Angeles covers Los Angeles and Ventura County. So, and MADD is mostly volunteers. MADD Los Angeles,
it's volunteers, right?
Ventura County, there's 3 full-time staff and 1 part-time person, and they cover all of Los Angeles, Ventura County. And so I'm a volunteer for MADD, and but you can volunteer. They always need help, whether it's doing prevention education, where it's helping the office, distributing literature, or mailings. We have a huge fundraiser that we do every year in October. It's our Walk Like MADD event, and it's usually down by the Queen Mary somewhere. And that's something we always need volunteers for, people to come out and walk and support our cause. And I welcome you to go on the website to learn more about the organization. You can get involved, in many ways. And for the youth out there, there's a program called The Power of Youth where you can learn about how to be.
That's for teenagers?
Yeah, for teenagers. To be safe out there, to learn about impaired driving and the effects and, the myths about impaired driving and alcohol and things like that, just to educate yourself and then pass that information forward to someone else who can use it.
Well, Kath Robbie of MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, thank you for being a guest today on Here's to Your Health. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. I'd like to thank you for tuning in today, and we'll be back, not next week, it's holiday, but we'll be back in January 2013. Have a good new year.
For more information about the guests and sponsors of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, please call us at 818-707-0005.